Give me the meat, and give it to me raw.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women. Sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you gay.
How about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
Who hired this crew? This is undoubtedly the seediest bunch of cutthroats, villains, and scoundrels I have ever seen, so who hired them?
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Hi there. How you sleeping, good? Gentlemen, listen up, y'all. Here's the new plan. You're gonna start a riot, and we're gonna walk out the front door.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
Really? Then let me put it to you this way, cuz. Yeah. I don't know how to be. No crib on MTV. God only knows. Got my mini-me in the GP. See how it goes. Evil's all that I see. You ask me my name? D to the Rizzo, E to the Bizzo, I to the Lizzo. I'm a crazy... You all knew that. Austin caught me in the first act. It's all backwards. What's with that? So I'll make a prophecy from the dogs to the mini-me. Give me an Escalade, a two-way bling-bling on eBay. Domino. Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Uh-huh. It's for all my homies in Bruges. Cristal, my moto, a couple of bee hutches. Why not? I got a buster move, dropping buster groove, feeling fine. Got an evil crew, gold member crew, lick my 9. Till then I'll on my butt, brains out, put on call and splooge in your app, that's all. For shizzle my nizzle, y'all.
The sound of the cannon.
Attention! On the count of 3. 1.
So it begins.
Give you such a crick in the neck.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Everybody comfortable?
Yeah.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
And here we go.
Welcome to another edition of The Absent-Minded Professor. We have fanfic writer trying to sue Amazon over Rings of Power. I don't know if you heard about this. This is hilarious. Victoria Alonso paid off by Disney, who's surprised. And the National Treasure series just got canceled after the first season. Funny stuff. Funny stuff. What should I cover first? The Victoria Alonso thing, that will probably take the quickest. Might be the quickest. New York Post covered it. Some other outlets covered it, I think. Let's see. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, yeah, I'm not covering any political news. That's not what I do here. It's mostly pop culture stuff, like the whole Tucker Carlson thing. I think it's crazy. Like he'll probably do better though away from Fox. Like Fox has become more. They're trying to become more moderate, and they just got sued by Dominion and settled for like $700 million, some shit like that. Yeah, defamation lawsuit. It's bullshit. But anyways, moving on to Victoria Alonso. I will present share screen. Yeah, I pulled up this page and it was advertising that whole Tucker Carlson stuff. Disney pays off fired Marvel exec Victoria Alonso. You remember her? She's the one who said the X-Men name was outdated. What an idiot. After she allegedly refused to censor Pride reference in Ant-Man. Apparently there's a Pride flag in the background of one of the scenes in Ant-Man. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment on that. Disney has reportedly reached a settlement with an ousted Marvel executive who was abruptly fired last month after she allegedly refused a company request to censor LGBTQ imagery in the Ant-Man sequel. Victoria Alonso, who played a key role in the development of Marvel's cinematic universe, alleged last month in a statement through her attorney that she had been silenced by Disney and terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. So that's what she was referring to. I didn't know that like before when I read that before. That's what she was referring to. Multiple well, Disney they claim to, you know, believe in all these causes, but then when it comes to sending their movies to other countries, that's when they censor things. Like if there's a gay kiss or something, if there's black people, they want to censor them. Like they lessened Finn's role in the Star Wars sequels because China, uh, at least the CCP is pretty racist against black people. If you see any of their commercials, you know what I'm talking about. There's one where they stick a black guy in a washing machine. And he comes out and it's a Chinese guy. Yeah, look it up if you don't believe me. I told somebody that at work, and he was like, "What? Wait, what? What the fuck?" Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. You think it's bad here? It's worse in other countries. Believe me, we have it very very good in America. Multiple reports have said Alonso was fired for breach of contract after she went outside the company to produce and promote the Oscar-nominated film Argentina 1985, which was made by Disney rival Amazon Studios. I mean, wouldn't they have known about this like from the start though that she was working on this? That seems like a nothing burger there, like an excuse. However, the Hollywood Reporter claimed she was canned after tuning out a demand to remove an LGBTQ reference for the Kuwait release of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Oh yeah, they don't like you being gay in places like Kuwait. I don't know. I don't remember if that's the country or not where they throw people off roofs. I'm not sure. Marvel executives wanted an editor to blur a storefront window that featured rainbow decorations and the word pride. The outlet. Yeah, I don't like that they've appropriated the rainbow. Like the rainbow used to be for everyone. Whatever. The outlet reported on March 28th. Alonso purportedly refused to comply with the directive, prompting Marvel to tap an outside editor to make the change for the film's Kuwait run. The two sides settled their dispute this week, Deadline reported. I wonder how much she got paid out. Yeah, so Disney claimed she was fired for breach of contract, the whole Argentina 1985 thing. The details of the settlement remain confidential, of course. However, the deal included multi-million-dollar financial compensation. Yeah, no shit. According to Deadline. The Post has reached out to Disney and Alonso's attorneys for comment on the statement. And Yeah, they're gonna pull the whole LGBTQ card and say a gay Latina who had the courage to criticize Disney was silenced. It's the usual song and dance. Yeah. Stupid. Stupid. But yeah, that's what happens when you hire activists though, that turn on you. You know, if you fire them for not doing their job, like we've seen the CGI, it looks terrible, and that was her job. She was head of like the whole CGI department, the visual effects, department, and it has not been shaping up. Like it's been looking terrible. So I mean, they could have just said that like she was doing a shitty job, but no, they used the whole Argentina 1985 thing to get her out of there. Just say, okay, she breached her contract by working for Amazon. When in reality, she was just a very shitty employee with a big mouth. But well, moving on. This whole well, I'll get into National Treasure first because the Amazon thing I think is a big one, and it'll be the most funny too. I'm gonna have a good time with this one. Let me see if I can read this when it's presented this way. Here. National Treasure canceled by Disney Plus after one season.
All right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Guess that concludes negotiation.
There will be no second season for National Treasure as Disney Plus has opted not to renew the Freshman Adventure series. Okay, my first question when I even heard this series was coming out is who asked for this? Like Nicolas Cage isn't even in it, and you got these. I don't know. It's another Forces Female kind of thing. Like, let's take a previously established brand and make it female centric just because we're Disney and that's what we do. uh, get rid of the main star. You know the he was like the main draw. Like people like his character, and then people like seeing him go on these adventures. And we'll just replace him with this girl, and see how it goes. Okay. Apparently, it was very poorly written. I saw. I watched. I don't remember how many episodes. One or two of as heel versus babyface, breaking it down, and it was pretty funny actually. I mean, I like watching his reactions to things more than I like watching the things themselves. Like Batwoman, watching him watch that was pretty fucking hilarious. But yeah, nobody asked for this, and so when Disney put it out, then people didn't tune in. Obviously, the show from Disney branded television and ABC Signature is an expansion of the National Treasure movie franchise, told from the point of view of young heroine Jess Lizette Oliveira, a dreamer. DREAM is in all caps for some reason. I don't know. In search of answers about our family, who embarks on the adventure of a lifetime to uncover the truth about the past and save a lost Pan American treasure. Zuri Reed, Antonia Cipriano, Jordan Rodriguez, Jake Austin Walker, and Lyndon Smith, never heard of any of these people, also starred in the series, executive produced by the film's producer Jerry Bruckheimer, director John Turteltaub, and writers Marianne and Cormac Wibberley. Nothing against them. They're all. I like Jerry Bruckheimer. I like John Turteltaub. He's done good work. But yeah, they were just being company men here. Like Disney was just like, you'll do this for us, right? We'll pay you this much money, and yeah, they just went along with it. Even though I'm sure they didn't believe this would work. I mean, come on. Oh Lord, it has a whole series. I mean, it has a whole list of series that have been canceled after one season. Big Shot, The Mighty Ducks, Game Changers, which I heard wasn't that bad. Just people, I guess, weren't interested. The Mysterious Benedict Society, Diary of a Future President, and Turner and Hooch. Wait, Isn't Turner? Okay, Turner and Hooch is, I guess, is another reboot. Like, why do they keep doing this? So some people in the comments like the show. I guess the 5 people that watched it. I just never saw the appeal, like, except when it had Nicolas Cage in it, like, because I love watching him. And Riley too, who I think he showed up in the show once or twice. I'm not sure. I know the detective was in it. Was it FBI agent that was after him in the. He might have been in both movies. I haven't seen the second one in so long. But I watched the first one on repeat. I love that movie. But yeah, it's like taking Ron, Hermione, and Harry out of Harry Potter and just replacing them with somebody like nobody's gonna give a shit. Come on, you saw how well Fantastic Beasts did or didn't do. If you don't, also if you don't have a good story around them, like it's not gonna matter anyway. Whatever.
Oh, bother.
Yeah. Next. Cancel. Oops. Let me bring up this next thing. Okay. Yeah, I even have the excerpt from this guy's book. It's not on Amazon anymore, surprisingly enough. Let me show you. Well, first I'll get into this article. Comes from Screen Rant. Amazon is being sued by a Lord of the Rings fan fiction author over Rings of Power. Yeah, this guy claims his books are completely original. They're just inspired by Tolkien, but it takes all of Tolkien's characters and tells stories like within the same world. It's just fan fiction, in the traditional sense where you take an established world, characters, and craft your own story out of them. I actually, when I was younger and obsessed with things like Xena, I wanted to make my own like fan fiction of Joxer's adventures while Xena and Gabrielle were frozen. Like because it was like what 30 years or some shit that they were frozen and he was still knocking about. So I had always, I'd always kind of dabbled in fan fiction myself, but ultimately I saw no point to it because it's like this is somebody else's work you're using. Like you can't expect to actually uh make big, with this. And also it just feels cheap, like you're piggybacking off of somebody else's ideas. Like what just come up with your own. So I never saw a point to it. But apparently this guy, okay, we'll get into it. An author is suing Amazon and the Tolkien estate, claiming they stole ideas for the Rings of Power from his Lord of the Rings fan fiction novel, which I wouldn't be surprised by. I mean, we see companies do this all the time. Disney steals ideas from people all the damn time. An author is suing Amazon and the Tolkien estate, claiming that ideas from his Lord of the Rings fanfiction were used in Rings of Power. Prime Video's TV series adapts J.R.R. Tolkien's Histories of Middle-earth's Second Age, focusing on Sauron's rise to power. It very loosely adapts the histories. The Lord of the Rings I'm not calling it that. It's just the Rings of Power. Season 2 is currently filming in the UK. Now, PC Gamer reports that author Demetrius Polychron is suing Amazon and the Tolkien estate for allegedly stealing ideas for Lord of the Rings or Rings of Power from his fanfiction. Polychron says he delivered a manuscript of his book, The Fellowship of the King, The War of the Rings. Yeah, very original title there. To Simon Tolkien. Simon Tolkien, you may know, is the son of Christopher Tolkien, who was the son of J.R.R. Tolkien. So he's the grandson of the sire, the greater sire. Simon Tolkien is a lesser son of greater sires, a failed writer, in my opinion, who feels feels that he'll never live up to the name of Tolkien, so he's embittered by that. So he sold out his grandfather's IP, his life's work, to a corporation that has taken it and watered it down, like to where it's almost unrecognizable. But yeah, that's my opinion of Simon Tolkien. You can make whatever opinion you want about him. He just lives in the shadow of his grandfather, which he will never be able to come out of. It's kind of sad when you think about it. So this guy Polygon delivered the manuscript to Simon Tolkien in 2019 in hopes of collaborating with the estate to publish it. The author is seeking $250 million in his lawsuit against Amazon and the estate. As I said, Simon Tolkien, not a very talented writer. He's he hasn't been able to produce anything on par with even his father, Christopher Tolkien, who was a great steward of J.R.R. Tolkien's works, helped edit and publish things that Tolkien didn't get to see done in his lifetime. But I could see Simon taking someone else's work and saying, "Okay, I can use this shit." Like, even if they say something like they can't be, they can't really do anything. Like, because he's got this huge corporation, like I said, behind him, like on his side. The Rings of Power isn't stealing fan fiction ideas, according to this article. Polychron registered his book with the U.S. Copyright Office in 2017 and published it through Amazon in September 2022. While the author claims his work is merely inspired by Lord of the Rings, the book begins in the Shire following Eleanor Gardner, the canonical daughter of Samwise Gamgee, is his daughter with Rosie Cotton. Despite Polychron's claims, the inclusion of characters created by Tolkien indicates The Fellowship of the King is not an original work. Yeah, no shit. Anyone can see that. The Rings of Power is an official series based on Tolkien's work, very loosely based, meaning names and locations for Lord of the Rings are bound to crop up. Because Polychron's book clearly pulls from Lord of the Rings franchise, it's unlikely he'll have a serious case to present regarding allegedly stolen ideas. The Rings... how so, though? Like, if you stole ideas from him, bro, it's set in the same world. Like, I could see that happening. The Rings of Power has a plan for season 2, and beyond that, will stay firmly in the Second Age, making it impossible for Polychron's post-Sauron story to have inspired any future plans. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. We see Disney taking ideas that were set in different times in the Star Wars timeline. Like, the events of the Heir to the Empire took place after Return of the Jedi, but we're going to see Thrawn, the whole Heir to the Empire story play out. Well, it's still going to take place after, but it's like 5 years after or something like that. But with a different character as the main character. Ahsoka has taken Luke's place, essentially, in the timeline. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Disney's cherry picking ideas from the EU Legends authors. With this consent though, Timothy Zahn came up with Thrawn, and he's written some novels for Disney ever since they acquired Lucasfilm. So I'm assuming it's all with his permission. I don't know how he feels about Luke being replaced by Ahsoka though. That's another story. Yeah, I'm sure. I'd really like to see an interview with him about that. I don't know how he feels about that. But yeah, this is kind of similar. You have someone claiming that his ideas were stolen, lifted, whatever, however you want to say, and used in this series because the writers just were not skilled enough to come up with their own ideas. They were not they were not creative enough, and I could see that happening because these two guys, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, they only have had like 1 or 2 credits to their name. The one big movie they wrote for, they didn't even get a credit for, Star Trek Beyond. Like that's how little they they contributed to the yep. At the time of writing, the Fellowship of the King is no longer available for purchase on Amazon, for obvious reasons. Because of the clear use of the Lord of the Rings characters in his story, Polychron may find himself in legal trouble for trying to claim Tolkien's characters as his own while making a profit. Yeah, that right there is why fan fiction is a bad idea. I mean, it's cool if it's for free and make it available for everyone to read on some site. But yeah, trying to profit off of it, off of somebody else's work, is never a good idea. You always put yourself into uh, legal muddy waters. It's improbable that Polychron's case will impact Rings of Power Season 2 or anything planned in the franchise's future. But this is hilarious, though. I wonder if they got comments. Come on, comments. Frick. Stop it. Yeah, I hate these sites. They're so stupid. The ads, man. The ads take over. Do they? Damn, they don't have any comments. Dret the whole thing. But this is funny, though. Oh, man. When I first heard about that, I was like, oh, what? And then I wanted to read this guy's, well, at least read the excerpt, because I don't know if you can even get the book. What? Let's see. Yeah, show you so you can clearly see this is just a ripoff. Ooh, frick. The Fellowship of the King. So he just wrote this like, recently. Okay, so 2022 it says. So there's no way they could have used this uh before, before filming that. At least he gave credit to where credit was due there. Okay, and then he used the Tolkien quote to justify his taking up the story. Like, no, stop. Eleanor Gamgee Gardner, daughter of Samwise and Rosie, was excited at the prospect of her upcoming 22nd party. For tween girls in the Shire, nothing short of a wedding was exciting as the 21st anniversary of their birth. This marked the beginning of their 22nd year when they officially became eligible to be courted by the young and sometimes not so ardent and hopeful bachelors, of which there suddenly seemed an almost endless supply. I don't know if this whole, yeah, first of all, I think they were considered like adults when they became like 33, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how much of this is keeping with the lore. High King Elisar, that's a reference to Aragorn. That's what he's known as. Queen Arwen, the Princess Calendrian, and her sisters met HMS Samwise. His wife, the inimitable Rosie, their 7 children. I don't know how much of this is actually like, in the lore. I know Tolkien kind of went into like the descendants of the heroes from Lord of the Rings and whatnot. Legolas and Gimli eventually went off to the west with Gandalf and them. I don't know if that's what happened before this. kind of curious about this now. It shouldn't be because it's not canon. It's not, it's not in keeping with Tolkien's lore. But whatever. I'm curious to see what happens if they settle this or it just goes away. It's probably gonna fizzle out. Like he'll just realize, I actually should not be trying to sue this huge freaking corporation that could take me down like with a wave of their finger. Because he has no case. Like he hasn't cited any examples of any ideas that were in his books, that they took. Like, he just claimed that they stole from him without, you gotta cite examples. You got to provide evidence or it's not gonna go anywhere. I'm sorry. Hey. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. But Carmen, we're trying to... screw you guys, home.